Okay, well, anybody want to have a seat?
Yes.
Plenty of chairs.
Let me know how y'all want to do
Is
this.
this a thing again?
Yeah.
Can I just go and start it? Can I just go and start it now?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the chair behind him too.
Ooh.
Excuse me.
Alright.
That'll work.
And boom, you're recording. So just
Okay.
keep it going.
Alright.
Uh,
I'm gonna move over a little bit maybe.
yeah, there you go.
These mics in the way.
Mm.
Put 'em down. Should we act like we just on the radio or something?
Lean it hell.
I'm gonna go grab something. I'll be right back, and then we can start.
Yeah,
Okay.
just put the headphones on. It'll work.
Right.
So we're pretty much ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I'm good.
Oh. Need it unfocused for some reason? It did. No,
Right, now
like
you're on
with
manual focus. So
no, it's like really unfocused. Oh wait, here we go. There we go. Got
there you
it.
go. Got it.
Fixed it. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. And
Yes.
you were good, Luke. And I'm gonna move this bad boy right here. Perfect. Okay, we're good,
Good to
guys.
go?
Yep, we are good to go.
Okay, I guess I'll start.
Go for it, man.
So just for like those who don't really know too much about you or like where you're from or like where you got your name, your discography, could you just give a little bit of information of that, like who you've worked with and stuff like that?
Yeah. From Detroit City, born and raised. You know what I'm saying. Been there most of my life. You know. Kind of got into producing, got into music. Well, I've always been into music. You know what I'm saying, since I was young. Like a lot of people, just
Okay.
being around it from the older cousins and parents.
Yeah.
And, everybody been in music, but got into like producing and officially wanting to
Make
become an
beats,
artist.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and to make a career out of it around like probably like when I was around 15.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What,
So,
That's
what
awesome.
inspired you to do that?
I guess like once again, just being around certain people that was really
Yeah.
into music and kind of just me just kind of catching the bug off of them. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so yeah, being curious, how to create certain things and use certain pieces of equipment and just kind of curious, man. And for whatever reason, ever since then, it's just that curiosity never left, and it's all the way to this day.
Yeah.
Years and years and years later, it's like it's still like kind of a journey of, wanting to know how to, bring certain things together, certain sounds together, certain visuals together creatively, like, and just keep advancing and growing. So yeah, I still got the same passion. It's just as big as it was back then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's the way to be.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people that know you might not know how much of a producer you are,
Right.
Because
right.
really, you're a
Producer
crazy
first,
producer.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I was saying.
exactly,
You
yeah.
produce all of your own
Yeah.
stuff. You worked with a lot of people.
Right.
J Dilla, Lauren Hill, right?
Slum
I've
Village.
heard that.
Yeah.
Village, Danny Brown and stuff like
Heard
that.
you
Yeah,
did some
yeah.
stuff with Jack White. Yeah. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I was wondering, on the scale, kind of from like producer to rapper, like where do you see yourself, or do you see those kind of like two sides of the same coin?
A little bit, but I honestly, I'm more at heart of a producer. Like I have more of an interest of like I say, kind of take me being a sample kind of. I come from like the school of production, like the
Yeah.
drum machines and digging for records and you know what I'm saying, and chopping stuff up, and that's the school of production I come from. My heroes are like Premier, Dilla, Pete Rock,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and the Timberlands and
That's a good
Just Blazes,
school.
you know what I'm saying. So yeah, so that school is from like just finding
Sample heavy.
rare records and so that's kind of how I've always been. So and it's always like I say my heart is always into like not only digging but just trying to see where I can go creatively as a producer and just pushing the limit, you know what I'm saying, of production and how can I manipulate sound and nowadays it's not even as much as producing, it's more so about like this last few years I kind of been on more about engineering, you know what I'm saying, just like the science like sound, just nerding out on like frequencies and vibrations and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, so it's kind of
that's like
surpassed just making the actual beat or making
the
a
super
song, so.
technical part, because a lot of people that's so hard to do,
right, and I
get it right,
and I tell a lot of like up and coming producers today, like that's really where it is, understanding that knowledge of it, because you put yourself in a position where you're capable of anything almost, you know what I'm saying?
you can be really moldable.
So yeah, I'm definitely more of, I would say, a producer than or like I rhyme and I create songs more so when I feel like I want to express a certain thing, or went through certain things in life when I feel like, okay, it's time to talk about. Now I'm at this stage of my life. Let me make an album.
I remember. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, you good.
I remember watching an interview. I think you did with Sway. You was like, you produce the exact number of beats you want. There's no throwaway songs.
Yeah. A lot of times, when I make an album, it's like the songs that you hear on the album were like kind of the only songs that I made in that time. You know what I'm saying?
Which is
like,
crazy that they're all solid.
Yeah. But to see, that's kind of my process though. Like I really don't waste any time making, a song that I just already know that might just.
Might just
throwaway.
Just writing to be writing. It's just right for the track.
Right. So, but in terms of beats, like I make beats almost every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when I'm at home. Like it's always a never ending. How can I just make this a little better, or how can I? You know what I'm saying? I'm always creating beats. Like that joint. That is just like pumps in my blood, my veins, in my DNA, just to create beats every day. It's almost like an obsession. Or a drug, like I kind of need to
you have to be making.
Have to get something out of me.
Yeah.
You know
For sure.
One time a day. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
Right.
So, is that kind of? I know your last project you put out was in 2014. So is that kind of what you've been using this time to just work on the technical aspects and just working every day, getting your beat catalog up and.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of that. Plus we've been touring like crazy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Me and the band. Like we've been touring a lot. So. We spent most of our time in 2015 touring. I put out a few singles here and there, but my album, what was that? If There's a Hell Below, came out the end of 2014, in November. So once 2015 kicked in, we just toured most of the year. So and we basically gonna do that this year. You know what I'm saying? To just keep the momentum going.
Okay,
stay
trying to
get
and internet buzzing and stuff like that.
Yeah, be producing for other people, other artists.
Yeah, okay, I feel
That's awesome.
So you don't have a project in the works right now, or are you kind of doing some stuff?
Well, I'm gonna work on an EP probably, and with I'm probably collaborate with a lot of different other artists, rappers, whatnot for that project. But more so, I want to produce for other people this year. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of I want to hear other people on my production because I know a lot of times most of the time when people hear my production is most of the time coming from my solo projects or whatever. Yeah. So I'm trying. I've done stuff with a few different artists. You know what I'm saying? That hopefully it ends up on their albums. You know what I'm saying? So
anyone specific that you?
If you're allowed to say, of course.
I don't want to. I hate to jinx myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you haven't worked with that you're really looking forward to working with?
You know what? If you would have asked me that 5-6 years ago, I might have had a list. But today, in 2016, I'm kind of open to working with anyone. You know what I'm saying? I kind of look at all artists man, I would approach this artist production-wise in, this way. I approach this artist a different way. So the way music is now, there's so many different styles and so many different, especially I feel like hip-hop is way more... Hip-hop and hip-hop artists is just way more experimental these days.
For sure, yeah.
It's hard to pick a few rappers, you know what I'm saying? Just because I kind of I wouldn't mind working with almost anyone. You know what I'm saying? At this
just want to do something.
Of course, you have the big names, that would be dope just to I got to be with this superstar. But besides that, creatively, whether it's someone that's on an indie level or major level, I'm kind of open. You know what I'm saying? I'm kinda open. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because I heard, I think it was in a Reddit AMA that you did.
Oh yeah.
You're working with, or maybe in the past with some band from England, some UK band.
You talking about?
I can't even remember their name because I just read this earlier, just an hour ago.
Yeah. The name's right, right there.
Yeah.
Man, it was these younger artists. Man, I can't. It'll come to me later on.
Yeah, did it come to that? Right. You actually did hook up with them?
Yeah, we did a few records together. So they're still working on the album and whatnot. So we did about 4 or 5 records together. So,
and that was you producing for the most part?
Yeah, just me producing. But I'm glad you kind of said that because even in terms of hip hop being experimental, hip hop is just so it's
global.
Yeah, it's always been global, but I feel like more than ever right now, it's American fans are open to artists from non-American artists, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it used to been if you had an accent from you know, somewhere in Europe or overseas
Yeah.
somewhere, it's like you really didn't get into the American audience didn't really get into it, but now it seems like you got all these UK artists and you know, coming with these different styles and coming over here.
There's
Yeah, I think just as a style in general, it's gonna be
Yeah.
much more accepted.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
way
lot-
more accepted, you know, right now. So yeah.
Which is great. Yeah.
Also knows there's a lot of more collaboration between like artists in the U.S. and other artists from other countries.
Yep.
So that's
dope. Yeah.
For sure. So, like, are there any other genres, musical genres, you're kind of
Yeah.
thinking about dabbling in? Because I know that you've done, of course, like David said, do a lot of soul influenced things, and
Yeah.
I've seen that you
Jazz
even
stuff.
get jazz stuff, like a little bit of electronic stuff,
Yeah.
like to an extent.
Man,
So, like,
it's-
are there any genres here?
all of that, man, and I feel like, you know, like I say right now, it's just a big pot of all of that going on with producers and rappers and singers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like, I definitely feel like I came in at a point right when it was starting, when, you know, I came in the crop of artists like 2006, 7, 8.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
When those up and coming artists or indie artists were like, you know, getting into or showcasing, like, you know, it's cool to, you know, mix up different styles and different genres of music and work. So, and of course, right now it's just like that's the average thing. It's just the norm now. So
Yeah.
But so yeah, man, like all of that. Like back, I put out a project in 2008 called Tronic. So that was like, it's kind of one of people. It seems like it's one of people's favorite projects for mine. But that was like probably my most like electronic-esque type project, and you know what I'm saying, just kind of stepped away from the soul stuff, and you know, so I've been on that, of course, doing stuff with a live band, and you know, what else, like I even have some stuff that's coming out up under Alias that's even more further to the left.
Oh,
You
that's
know what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
into that.
So yeah. So yeah, man, it's like I'm from that era of, you know, I guess listeners where I'm kind of open to anything, creating anything, and it's really not a box. You know what I'm saying? When it's
Totally.
in terms of creativity.
Yeah, there aren't really
So,
boundaries as much now.
Yeah,
You can
it's not-
sample anything you want.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You can work with any
More,
artist
man.
you want. You know.
Yeah, and like I say, some of my favorite producer of all time is Dilla. So
Yeah.
he's the one I feel like kind of spearheaded that, like, train of thought in terms of production, and like he was just so 5 to 10 years ahead of his time with his production, where he was one of the first, him and Timbaland, but he was one of the first like producers that I heard that got into sampling stuff like Daft Punk and Stereo Lab, and you know what I'm saying, just like, man, why is you know, he stepped away from the typical jazz records and funk records that hip hop producers were known to sample, and he just started like
Sure that you can
craft
do
work.
anything.
Just crazy shit like that. So me being influenced by him automatically makes me open to, like, man, just the world of music, you know, generally.
In light of that, man, how was it to produce? Was that song Reunion that you
Oh,
worked
yeah,
on?
yeah,
that
yeah.
he rapped on? Did you actually get to work with him?
Yeah. That was a crazy moment, because that was the first time, you know, I got a chance to work with him, just to hear him rhyme over one of my beats that I made. You know what I'm saying? In the basement was just like mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of like somewhat of a cosign, like that I'm, I guess, on the right path production wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
if he's willing to do.
then
you must be doing something right.
Right. So he really dug that beat. You know what I'm saying? And he rapped over a few more of my beats around that time. So yeah. The few times I got to like interact with him and, you know, conversate with him was just like probably the greatest moment in my music career. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, to me, it's almost like religious when it comes to Dilla. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, because it's just like I study. You know, I've been a student of this guy for so long, and he's one of my musical heroes. So yeah.
What's your favorite album by him?
Oh, man.
If you can have it, that's probably a hard question. I know.
That is. I mean, I guess production wise, it's probably Slum Village's Fantastic Volume 2. It's probably still like my favorite production, because that was like the album that really messed my head up when I heard it back. You know, late 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like 99, 2000 when I first heard that album. Just kind of like I say, it was just a sound of hip hop production I never felt before. It was so loose and so, you know, just different. But yeah.
Being from Detroit, and Detroit not having really too many rappers that have popped up really big, besides I guess like Big Sean and Dej Loaf now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of just like music in Detroit right now?
I think I actually like love the direction it's going.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? And I actually feel like, of course everybody know M. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's done a lot. The legacy Dilla's laid out. The legacy Royce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Royce 59. Danny Brown.
Yeah, Danny Brown. It's like kind of it's different levels of it. You know what I'm saying? Because we have the major artists, like you said, we got the Dej Loafs, we got the Big Sean, that's like on a major level, which is incredible for the city. And then it's crazy because we've always had like the more underground indie artists that's always had a fan base also, like the Guilty Simpsons and myself and even younger dudes that's coming up, these guys named Clear Soul Forces and Nolan the Ninja, and like it's a lot of new younger, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Artists that's coming out of Detroit. And
so the underground in Detroit started to pop.
So it's like, and we've always had a pretty much like healthy music scene, and has been able to go out of the city and tour and go overseas, and so it's always been dope, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just an interesting place, and we've always been our own thing with our own sound. So
Yeah, speaking of Detroit artists with Jack White, right?
Yeah, man.
So he's from there too. I was just interested how that hookup you had with him even happened. Because you went down to Third Man and put out spent a couple days there working with him. How did that even come about? Did he contact you, or
man,
what went on?
He reached out to us, and like I say, and anytime I'm asked like how did we link, it's, it was one of those things where, of course, you're not for sure at first, like, is this really this guy hitting me up? But once we got over that part, it was like, oh, it's really him. We was like, whatever you want to do, like, fucking Jack White. So
exactly.
so he wanted me. Like I say, he was doing he does the Third Man, single releases with different artists. So he wanted to do one with me, and man, we went down to Nashville, and he was like, bring the band, and me and my band, we hooked up with some of his musician friends, and just got in the studio. His studio was at his crib, so that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Driving up in there, and when we first got there, just seeing Jack White walk out the door towards you, like outside, I'm like,
is that
when it's really about to happen? Like that's when it kind of hit me. Like, so I was already a fan, you know what I'm saying, White Stripes or whatever, and of course him being from Detroit, but so I was already a fan, and it was just I was kind of starstruck the whole time, and kind of like intimidated to a degree, also because I'm like, man, this guy's like a huge rock star.
Yeah.
Just a little, hip hop artist, underground artist, bro. So I actually asked him like, how did he even know who I was, or how he got familiar with me. But and he had told me that he had came across one of my songs that I did with Royce 59 and Elza actually, and he was like, yeah, man, I dug the track, and he was telling me that he always wanted to work with like a hip hop artist from Detroit, but he couldn't find the right person that like made sense for what he did. When he found me and seen that I also produced,
that was probably a huge part of it.
It'd make sense. So
Because
man.
In that single, you can definitely tell it's got some Jack influence, in the
hell
guitar and stuff.
Yeah.
But how much like influence did you have over that? Were you basically dictating
what
happened?
That was the thing. Like at first I was like, I don't know how much I should input or
right, because he's up here.
But and then it got to a point where it was just like everybody was just like, we all musicians, we all creatives, and everybody's on the same level now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we
that's
got
great.
The room so it was funny because at one point I was kind of directing everybody that was playing, like, keep playing that, or keep that groove over here. And there was even a point where I was telling him to keep one of the guitar riffs that he was playing. Like, stay there for like 8 more bars, and he stayed there because clearly. So I just realized like, man, he's kind of let me just be the producer of this whole situation.
Yeah.
So even though it was like live musicians, everybody was playing their part, I was kind of still orchestrating it somewhat. You know what I'm saying, to a degree. So
man, that's
it was
great.
crazy, man. It was a crazy little moment. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I guess kind of related in the sense of like artists that you worked with. Tell me about Danny Brown. How was that, dude? Because
man, it's always crazy little time working with Danny.
we can imagine.
Yeah, but it's funny because as much as people might perceive like how wild and crazy he is, like when it's time to work, when he's in the studio, you know, he's focused. You know?
Oh, man.
So
I mean, that's what got him here, I'm sure.
Clearly, right.
Yeah, he's
right,
got his
right,
personality.
Right. Yeah, he got his
He gets down. He gets down.
When it's time to work, he mad focused, man. So yeah, we did a few records together on a few of my projects, and we did a solo EP together called Black and Brown. So,
right.
Yeah, so and we knocked that out real fast, man. Like knocked that out like probably in a week's time.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
So he came in, land verses. I'll probably tell him to cut something a little different, but for the most part, you know, he just knocked it out. You know?
Man.
And, so yeah, I just talked to him actually like a few weeks ago. So he's trying to get prepared to put out an album this year. So
awesome.
me and him was going back and forth, you know, some stuff. So hopefully you will see, you know, some Black Milk, Danny Brown collaboration on the album.
That'd be sweet, man.
Possibly, you know, crossing my fingers, Black and Brown part 2. So
man,
yeah.
that'd be very wicked.
Yeah, man, yeah. So hopefully, yeah, all that goes down. But yeah, man, Danny he's one of those dudes I feel like that took what like Detroit artists. He kind of took it to a whole nother level because it was like we were looked at as, you know, you had the J Dilla thing, so everybody fell under that umbrella, you know what I'm saying, as artists. But then when Danny came out, it was a whole nother
he's way different
thing, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Even though he was into, you know what I'm saying, some of the same stuff, you know, but he just had a different approach, you know, and I feel like, damn, man, that was needed, like to give Detroit artists or Detroit music, hip hop music, just a whole new, another fresh,
so
you know,
get
little
like
lane,
too
you know what I'm
focused.
saying? Yeah. And that's how I see with a lot of the newer artists that's coming too. Like they have a totally different sound from the sound, I guess you can say, that people quote unquote know us for. You know what I'm saying? That like I say, Slum put down and Dilla put down and M put down. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some artists out there that's doing some different stuff that's away from that, and I love that idea. You know, the idea of that. So yeah.
You have anyone like you listen to right now that's kind of like indie, not too mainstream, that's in the game, that's been getting some notice?
That's indie. You know what? Yeah. I would say it's a couple artists. It's a couple cats from Detroit actually. I was trying to think of somebody outside of Detroit, but it's a couple cats from Detroit that's really dope. Producer MCs also. Okay. One guy named Denmark Vesey, he actually just dropped the album end of last year, Ridiculous, and another guy named Quelle. Yeah, Quelle. So like they're like creatively they just on some other, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love their production, I love their raps. Like them two guys are like I'm kind of like one of their biggest fans, man, in terms of like what they do musically. So from that, and then outside of hip hop, man, I don't know. It's just so much music every day. I really never get a chance to really like just focus in and lock on one artist like that. Man, it's so much. So yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What's your opinion of like mainstream kind of focusing more of like that Atlanta trap kind of sound? Like where's hip hop kind of like headed to?
What's your opinion?
I mean, I like it, but you know that's kind of where hip hop's heading to.
I mean, it's not even where it's headed to.
It's just where it's at.
That's where it's at.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what? And at this point, like I used to be a guy that was more like, that was kind of like, man, you know what I'm saying? Music should be like this or like this, you know. But now that was like years ago. But now I'm like, it's interesting to me just to watch stuff unfold, watch hip hop unfold, watch it like.
It's just gonna go where it's gonna go.
It's just gonna go where it's gonna go. So it's just you know, as a producer. And as just an artist and creative in general, it's just interesting to see like how production changes slightly from year to year, and how people flows change and what becomes the trend and what becomes, you know what I'm saying? So I more so look for that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm at a point where I just do what I do, and the people that support what I do, you know, I'm great, you know, I'm good, you know what I'm saying? Just with that, so and it grows, and my exposure grows every year also, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, me knowing that I have like my own niche, my own lane, you know, my own thing.
You can just enjoy what else is out
there. I can kind of just sit back and enjoy it.
Making sure you gotta work a regular job on the regular.
Right. And I don't feel like I'm competing or like other styles of music is like hindering or.
There are plenty of fans. You know, there are plenty of fans for everything out there.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't really. I'm not as much as a critic or I don't criticize as much as probably I used to. about what's out there. I just kind of now I just kind of listen and just like I'm a fan of what I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a good
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
It's from kind of
I can actually say that I do feel like hip hop music is in a better space than it was like in the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's when I really couldn't enjoy a lot of stuff. But I feel like it is definitely
There's a lot of variety now.
More balance. Even in the mainstream, it's a little more balanced than it was. A little more balanced. You know, it could be even more, but it's
okay.
You know what I'm saying? You got when you listen to the radio, you go from your Coles, your Kendricks, your
Future Drake,
to your Futures, to your Drakes, to you know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah.
like you hearing it all. You know what I'm saying? From a little bit of sample based stuff. You know what I'm saying? From like people like Cole or Kendrick, and the straight hood stuff from like Futures and Thugs and all that. So I feel like it's dope because I feel like most people, I don't really know anyone that just likes one style of music, one style of music, one style of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Well, I do know a few people, but they're like mad older. You know what I'm saying? Like, mad older, but like people that's like my age and younger, like
just enjoying every sample.
Just enjoying what they like, what they like. So So
it's from kind of a technical standpoint. I'm just interested, what kind of programs do you use when you're making your beats?
Oh man.
You know what?
Do you have like a main one you go with?
I use Pro Tools.
Pro
You know what I'm
Tools,
saying? I use Pro Tools to like edit and do a of course mix and a little bit of production in Pro Tools. But for the most part I still use my MPC 3000. Like I just love that machine. So this year I did say I was gonna like focus, really take some time and go on a little more digital. But yeah, for the most part, I'm still on the MPC 3000. But
man,
I'm at a point that I can manipulate it like how I wanted. Like if I wanted to do something of something that sounds a little more current or something that sounds whatever. If an artist asks me, can you do this? Yeah. I know how to like take a machine that's kind of like from the 90s and do what I do and make it sound like it's not from the 90s, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. As long as you can be versatile.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm using Pro Tools too, so I can do a lot of the same edits that mostly everyone else is doing, you know what I'm saying? So it's more so I just still feel comfortable and it's a certain sound that machine, certain texture that machine gives to your stuff that I like, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. You guys have anything else?
Man, that's good.
Other ideas? There's no possibility that we're going to be able to get you to do any sort of freestyling or anything at all.
Man, I usually go freestyle, man. Oh man, I can't even. Oh man, damn man, I can't even do that right now. Bro.
You can't.
Do that right now.
We'll hear it at the show. It'll be at the show.
Yeah, true. Okay.
I mean, it don't have to be anything serious.
Yeah,
just
dude.
for fun.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna even.
He's a producer, guys. Come on, he's
a producer.
I can't even embarrass myself like this. Possibilities.
Okay.
It's too great.
Worth a shot, man. Thought I'd see.
That's all good.
Yeah, totally.
It's all good.
It was great. This was a excellent interview. We need to. I guess we have to wrap up because you got a sound check and all that stuff. Yeah, totally. But yeah, dude. Awesome.
Man,
tons of fun.
It's great to meet you.
For sure.
Man, like definitely, man. Nice to meet y'all cats. Great interview, man. Thank you, man.
All the way.
Appreciate your time.
That's awesome.
Cool, man.
Sweet.